What's up, everybody? This is Jack from Crypto 49er, bringing you my knowledge in cryptocurrency. Today I want to talk about blockchain, how to explain it in a job interview. I recently, well, not recently, it's been actually 6 months ago, made a video explaining Bitcoin to friends and family. So that was like a general idea, basically how to explain Bitcoin to non-technical people or people that might be technical but might not know what Bitcoin is, and how you can explain it in like basic technical terms. So I thought did great on that, and I mean only got 85 views, but that's besides the point. I mean, I felt like I explained it well enough, at least that anybody that watched that video would understand what Bitcoin is. But I recently went on a job interview. It is a front-end developer position, but it is related to cryptocurrencies. During the interview with the CTO of the company, we got into discussion on blockchain and what do I know about blockchain, and specifically how to explain it. I gave him my explanation that I did pretty much in this video here, and he wanted a technical explanation. So he was asking questions like, so where are the transactions data stored? How are the blocks actually connected? Things like that. So, and unfortunately, I don't think I was able to answer it to the way that he wanted, and that's why I didn't get that job. So while I was fumbling, trying to answer his questions and try to basically explain blockchain to him in a technical form to the best of my ability, he was kind enough to actually explain it to me as well, because I guess he actually really studied it, and he really knew how to explain it well enough that I understand it. But like, it wasn't to the point where I didn't understand it to begin with. It's just that I couldn't really put together the definition properly. And I feel like there are like tons of videos out there on YouTube. One of the most popular ones is actually this one right here from Wired with 1.6 million views. Blockchain explained in 5 different difficulty levels. So this is the level 5 of the video that they had. So basically they already gone through the kids. I'm going to go back here for the kids. So this is again level 1, and I think this is like level 2 or 3. But so this guy's level 5 according to this Wired video, and I love Wire. At least I loved them back then. Not so much for this video. I mean, because why is this guy Finn Brunton, a historian, to be explaining blockchain? Overall, I mean, if you watch the video, you probably have watched this video already. He probably give you a pretty good idea what blockchain is, and gets into very detail on what you can do with blockchain. But it's not really a technical explanation. If you were on a job interview and you were asked this question, how does the blocks connect? He doesn't explain that in this video right here. So again, I don't know why Wire Magazine picked a historian to explain blockchain, but that's a separate story. So what I have found after looking through some additional videos is I found this guy right here, Blockchain 101. His video only got 800,000 views, and he only got like 19,000 subscribers. Anders Brownworth. But his video shows you in a visual basis how blockchain works, basically from the hash to blockchain to distributed to the tokens inside and the Coinbase. Basically, I knew more or less what all these terms are, but like to put them together properly and explain it, I think is very helpful. And I think his video right here does that really well. And here's the added bonus. This video is not just a video. He actually has a site as well that lets you play with it. So this is how his site right here, you have different hash, you have the block, so you can see what the hash does as he explained. Basically, a hash, as he explained, it was a signature of the data that you have. So let's say, I think he did Hive. I can say, right, Crypto 49er, my name, and you can see on the bottom right here, well, as I was typing, the hash was changing. You can get this signature, you can get this hash every single time if you supply the same exact data. So, and that's basically what hash is. He then goes deep into a block and the nouns. I mean, I would say he didn't really explain the nouns too well in this video right here, even though he let you play with it. It's basically, the nouns basically is the number that will give you a hash. When you hash the nouns and the data together, it'll give you a hash that have a certain number of zeros. So this is not a real blockchain, obviously. So I think in the real Bitcoin blockchain, the hash has a lot more zeros in this. In his example explaining how blockchain works, his hash only required 4 zeros. And you can actually have the mine button here where you actually mine the data, and he shows you that and shows you, I'll probably show you that right now. So I think he just did exactly this. So when you click on high, it changes the hash. When you click on mine, it'll actually take a while before it reaches a hash that has 4 zeros like here. So, and that's what the nouns, you have to change the nouns in order to match the new data that's in here to find a hash that has 4 zeros in the front. That's the requirement by Bitcoin. So love his explanation overall. And he has a part 2 of this explanation where he explains the public and private key, which is pretty much what I would normally explain to people. This is how the encryption process works. Even for the basic non-technical people, I was explaining some of that. So, but here again, he has it in here where he can show you the signing process for the public key and the private key. And again, this also is available on a website for you to play with as well. So you can actually get the keys and you can go and play with how the keys are, how a private key and public key is generated. And then you can see the signature process where you can actually verify that you are the owner of that private key by sending a message and then be able to verify that. So you can actually do that and be able to create a message signature and then be able to show the signature with the public key and verify that actually is the message that you sent out. It's pretty awesome that he did that in roughly, this is 17 minutes, and this is another 9 minutes roughly. So about 25 minutes, he's able to explain the entire concept of the blockchain in a very technical term with all these different terminology. So I definitely found this very helpful, and I think that I will be studying this again and watching the video several times so that I'm prepared for the next interview if I'm asked questions about how to explain blockchain on a technical level. So one thing that he didn't cover that much was the Merkle tree. So the Merkle tree is actually how Bitcoin transactions are stored. It's stored inside Merkle tree. At least that's my understanding. And he didn't explain it too much, but there's definitely enough here that he explains it where at least you will understand it. And you understand that the Merkle tree is important. But if you want to dive deeper into it, there is the whole thing about segregated witness, which we already gone through the process last year. When I was watching and looking at segregated witness, I really didn't understand segregated witness that well. But having went through and watched this video from this guy right here, he actually explains it quite well, I have to say. He made this video back before segregated witness was in place. One thing I really love about his video is actually he goes into details of the block size and what's exactly stored inside a block. So they have the block header and they explain to you what's stored inside a block header. So you won't get confused at what's going on, because I watched other videos where people are saying because of segregated witness, you're going to have an extended block and then you're going to have a separate block, you have separate information. And I just end up having more questions than answers when someone said segregated witness is going to separate the witness information into another extended block. I'm like, so where did this block go? Is this block connected to the blockchain? Is this block optionally downloadable? All these questions I had that made no sense because there are people out there that unfortunately try to simplify the explanation of segregated witness and end up making it more confusing for people. So if you watch through this video, at least definitely the first 6 minutes, is really worth it, because then you will see what he's explaining in here, how he's able to say that the witness data is not separated into a separate block. The structure of how the transactions are stored, they are now separated so that the witness information is stored in a separate Merkle tree structure to the point where you have 2 Merkle trees in here at least, so that you will have one that's for transactions and one that's for witnesses. And they are all still part of the same block that theoretically has a maximum of 4 megabyte block size, even though the average size would be 2 megabytes. So now you want to dive deeper still, there's a couple more resources I definitely recommend. If you go to the Bitcoin GitHub repo, you will find that there's the Bitcoin improvement plans. And in here, you will see all the improvement plans and the status of it. Some of it, actually, I was surprised that, like, for example, BIP39 is still under proposed, even though I think a lot of wallets are already using this. So you can use a 24-word passphrase instead of actually typing in private key by like the digits. This is not incorporated into Bitcoin by default. So this is something that people use, but it's not part of Bitcoin. And then you have other ones like in here where you want to get more detail about segregated witness. It's under Bitcoin 141. I think there's a couple other ones like 144 and 148. They explain the deployment process for segregated witness. In addition to that, Andreas Antonopoulos wrote this book, Mastering Bitcoin, which costs $25. But you don't actually have to pay for this book, because this book, he actually, during the creation process, he actually put this on GitHub and wrote it out chapter by chapter, and it's available for free on this GitHub repo right here, Bitcoin book, and you'll be able to find so much more information about it. I basically skimmed through this book. I haven't read through in detail. I feel like there's a lot of information that's in here, but it might not be as technical as the information in these two YouTube videos. But at the minimum, I feel like if there were anything confusing about it, there's at least a glossary. There's definitely a lot of ways to reference the information that you can look into, and you know for sure that this information is as accurate as it can be. So anyway, the bottom line is this. It's fun to explain blockchain to non-technical people, but there's already thousands of videos that does that, both poorly and in great detail. When you can explain the structure of a blockchain in technical terms, not just guessing or vaguely recalling terms like Merkle tree. I mean, that's exactly what I did pretty much. Like transaction ID, Merkle tree, I was just throwing them out there during the interview. But obviously, when you're able to do it in a structured, technical way, explaining how each of the concepts connect together, that's when you can impress a hiring manager. So that's my video for today, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below. Like and subscribe. If it isn't crypto, it isn't worth mining. It isn't worth speculating. Peace out.